Welcome in, everybody. It's Main Street Today time, and we are all over Middle Tennessee. It is also National Iced Tea Day, June the 10th, and we're going to talk a little bit about tea coming up a little bit later in our show, but we're going to talk about food right now. Standing by in our waiting room is Gary LeBlanc, who is a chef from my home state, Louisiana. It's his people, my people, and if there's anybody who could feed the world, it'd be somebody from Louisiana. And they'd feed everybody, and people be going wherever they go. They're going to be looking for Gary and all the people there. But I'm going to tell you a little bit about Mercy Chefs. They're opening their Nashville location, but I want you to see the vision behind it right now before we talk to Gary live.
Need to move out. You're needed in Baton Rouge at 116 Lafayette Street. Personnel will be waiting for you.
This house has been through a lot. This town's been through a lot, and I never, ever could imagine this happening here.
We find that sometimes the news media doesn't go where we go, to places that are underserved, a community that's been devastated.
You're standing in the road for 12, 13, 14 hours, but then somebody brings you a good hot meal. It just means the world to everybody. It boosts your morale. It makes you feel better. Makes you feel better about helping the people that are helping you.
We've never gone through a disaster like this or on this magnitude, and they come in here and they've been through it, and so that's a great comfort.
There's two things that they're feeding, the stomach and the soul. People forget about the soul.
We're often asked, why do you work so hard to do a quality meal when you can just throw something out? I don't think it's worthwhile to go and do something in the name of the Lord and not do it with excellence, and to do it with passion and do it to the best of your ability.
Mercy Chef has been a godsend because most of my guys are eating out of a paper bag or a plastic bag or some type of dry foods, and it's nice to have a warm meal.
It's very difficult for me to say this sometimes, but funding is the only limitation we face. I mean, it's just a fact. Without the resources and the support of donors, we can't go feed people. The financial demands when we're on site are huge. It's not unusual for us to have a $15,000 a day grocery bill. We get our groceries in tractor trailer trucks. I mean, that's how we get the groceries. We can't wait for donated supplies. We're here too early for that kind of thing. So we have got to have that ready reserve of funds available that we can go into a disaster and not hesitate. It takes us almost $5,000 just to fuel up all the vehicles to get on site.
During Hurricane Sandy, they had to drive across several states to purchase propane for the trucks. We just do what we need to do to get the job done.
You know, I think of the chefs that work with us. These folks leave home, they take time off work, they use vacation or unpaid leaves of absence. They'll sleep on the floor of the kitchen if they have to. They will do anything it takes to feed people in a time of crisis.
The biggest event was the Baton Rouge flood. The first day we showed up, we had 3 chefs and we fed 10,000 people the first day we got on site. And throughout the course of the week, we fed 65,000 people, and that was just incredible.
From the very beginning of being involved with Mercy Chefs, I was so greatly impressed by how every dollar that comes in really hits the ground. Instead of going for administrative costs, I have seen Gary take money out of his own pocket when it wasn't there, literally taking cash out of his wallet. We've all done it. I've just seen such an integrity with every single donation.
One of these mobile kitchens cost us about $140,000 or $150,000 to put on the road. And then the complete package that goes with us can take us up to $250,000. That's really not a lot of money for us to cover a geographical section of the United States. So with the 3 kitchens we have now, we're still fairly limited. So we have one in Virginia Beach, one in Dallas, and one in North Oklahoma. Now the one in North Oklahoma, we will move during hurricane season. So those 3 kitchens cover a big part of the country right now. But we'd love to add another one in North Florida. And we desperately want to put one on the West Coast. Then from there, we'd like to put one in the heart of the industrial area, Detroit, Cleveland, Pittsburgh. That gives us a great expanse up there. And then maybe one down in the heartland. Now, if we have those 7, we can move one around to Colorado during the blizzard times of the year. We can move another one if there's a drought coming in, and still keep our coverage of the country complete. We can get anywhere in 8 hours of an emergency.
We're believing God that there are those who see what we do, that God will just touch somebody's heart and say, here, just take them a blank check, that they may go forward and do what they need to do. They're feeding people who are hurting. They're going into communities and they're praying with folks. They're responding immediately to disasters all over the country, all over the world, taking water purifiers to folks. They're doing things and they need help.
I don't know how we would have made it if they hadn't come in when they did to help us. And so I just want to say thank you to Mercy Chefs.
We've got Gary LeBlanc with us, and I can't watch that without crying. I'm just, whew. It is so powerful because feeding people has always been my heart. You know, that's, if there's going to be a charity I'm going to be involved in that doesn't have a horse in it, it's going to be, the other is feeding people, and that always comes first. And first of all, thank you, Gary, for what you're doing.
Well, you're so welcome. You know, we always say something amazing happens over a shared meal, and to get to go do that with folks that have just lost everything is such an honor.
I'm so weepy over that. It's just because I've seen firsthand how when Katrina hit and how that affected you, your heart and your spirit. Was that when God spoke to you and said, I'm calling you to do something?
Well, I'm a little slow. It took a little longer than that, but volunteering with all the other agencies after Katrina, I got angry about what I saw and the way I saw people being fed. And I just really believed there was a better way. And it took about 9 months after Katrina before I had the call to go feed people, and to do it in a way that no one else does, and to do it in a way that no one had ever done it before. And that was to serve a high quality, professionally prepared, chef-crafted meal in the aftermath of a disaster. Not a frozen chicken nugget or a cold hot dog or a scoop of green beans right out of the can.
Well, you're here in Nashville for something very special. Tomorrow, there is a ribbon cutting on our Nashville location, our Middle Tennessee location of Mercy Chefs. And it's the Nashville Community Kitchen, the ribbon cutting tomorrow at Christ Church on Old Hickory in Brentwood. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, for years, we primarily focused on disaster relief. And then my wife really challenged me that in between disasters, that we had an obligation to reach out to our own community and right in our backyard and to feed children and at-risk populations. So we began to do that about 5 years ago, and that really has transitioned into the community kitchen model. And we believe in Nashville, and after working here during the tornado last year and then the recent floods, we said, you know, what a great place for us to make that same community commitment. So we have a permanent kitchen. We partner with other agencies here in Nashville. We don't just go out on our own and hand out food. We find other agencies that are already doing enrichment programs that have quality activities and that don't have a food service component. And we just partner with them.
You know, there's a statistic that is out there, and I on another video, I was debating which video to share, but I really wanted to take it back to the beginning where you first started. But 1 in 4 children. Now, just think, we have America. We have great education. We have great medical, but we have little kids going to bed 1 in 4. 1 in 4. That means you know a child right now. Everybody knows a child that is going to bed hungry, and that is a shame. And it hits you, I know.
I just can't process that. We're a land of plenty, even in a time where we're in now, where we're stretched a little bit, where the country is stretched, the food supply is stretched, but still there's plenty. And there's just no reason. There's no child that's ever done anything that they deserve to be hungry. And so that's a huge focus for us.
You know, I talked with someone this week, and I'm not going to say the name because very well-known musician, but if you were, whatever you did in your life, if someone told you, I'm sorry, but you cannot make a living, and everything that you did to make a living is stopped. And he with tears in his eyes, he said, God provided, but he goes, it's the first time in my life I've had to depend on charity food to get me through, literally to get me through. And this is a person who has played on everybody's records, and he's done such an amazing job with his life, and he's a wonderful believer. But he said, I just walked on faith, and God literally provided. You help all sorts of people. And this year alone, I mean, you've been feeding a lot of people. Just that's a disaster in itself, isn't it?
Well, it's been the biggest disaster we've ever faced. I mean, we served 12 million people in the last year. And 12 million. Oh my gosh. Yeah, and it's phenomenal for us. I mean, we've only done 15 million total in the existence of Mercy Chefs, and 12 of that in the last year during the pandemic has just been huge. So while everybody else has pulled back and tried to be smaller in this new thing, we've had to just explode with our abilities and where we're able to go and what we're able to do. And it's one of the things I'm really proud of our team at Mercy Chefs. They're very nimble and they're very flexible, and we were able to pivot and do some brand new things and make a huge impact.
Well, first of all, thank you from the bottom of my heart. It just, I mean, I'm overwhelmed with emotion as I watch it, because you're doing it, my friend.
Well,
you're
thank
doing
you so
it.
much.
When
we're
God's
doing it here in Nashville too.
Yes.
So how exciting is that?
I know. I'm so grateful. What do you need? What can we do to help you now? Tomorrow, the ribbon cutting, 1 o'clock, Christchurch. Anybody can go to the ribbon cutting.
Well, we ask people to do 3 things for us. We ask first that people pray for us, that we would be wise and strong and just follow where the Lord would have us go. And the second thing we ask folks is come volunteer with us. You're able to go to the Nashville site. You're able to sign up as a volunteer. Come put your hands to the work. And then for the folks that are able to support us financially, we ask folks to get behind us, because we count completely on the generosity of the American people.
Well, I want people to go to mercychefs.com. You can get all the information right there. Follow Nashville Community Kitchen on Facebook. You can actually have your own page where you can find Nashville Community Kitchen and see all the things that are going on right here at home for Middle Tennessee. And God bless you, Gary. I'm so proud of you, and I'm so grateful to you and your wife, Ann, and just what you're doing is amazing.
It is absolutely my pleasure. I just couldn't imagine doing anything else with my life.
Well, we're glad that you're here with everything within us. We are glad that you're here. Tomorrow start, but I think about all those. I have some friends of mine who are empty nesters. They're great volunteers. They have packed many lunches, and now they're not packing lunches anymore, and they're sad, and they're sitting in their homes depressed. And I go, you know what? There's a place where you can pack a meal for somebody. You can go and volunteer, and there is a need, and pretty soon all that depression's gone.
Yeah, I think so. We always say the greatest therapy happens to us when we're able to hand out. So I think there is something amazing that happens there as well.
Well, this is brilliant. Thank you so much for what you're doing. You have a beautiful rest of your day. Thank you, Gary.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. You know what? And I'm going to play some blues music because that kind of speaks to our soul. A little George Shingleton.
Nothing's ever felt so right as having you by my side, safe in my arms, rested and warm. But before that rooster crows, there's something I need to know. Though I love you just the same, I'm asked on you, babe, and by the fire or toss a flame. By the fire or a flame, they ain't one and the same. One keeps turning strong, and one's here, then it's gone. Am I all that you need? Not just a fling, little shelter from the rain till the storm blows away. And by the fire or just a flame. Am I your guiding light, just to help you through the night? Am I here to stay? Just a stop along the way till you find your true love, the one that you really want. I hope to embrace till the end of your day, by the fire or just a flame. By the fire or a flame, they ain't one and the same. One keeps burning strong, one's here then it's gone. And I'm all that you need, and not just a flame, a little shelter from the rain till the storm blows away. And by the fire or just a flame, by a link in the chain, look on the pain. And by the fire or just a flame.
Wow. I love me some George, and he is part of PanFest. PanFest is coming up July 1st at 3rd and Lindsley with Dave Pahanish, and it's going to be great. There's like 1 million people. Ticket $10 for tickets. It's amazing. And George and Dave are both part of my smokehouse family up in Mont Eagle. We know that the smokehouse burned, but they have the Smokehouse Pavilion behind where the restaurant was, and they're going to be doing Music on the Mountain Friday and Saturday night with a great menu of great food. So you just go to the Smokehouse, Jim Oliver Smokehouse, just like you planned to, just like you loved, and go out and have some good food. This weekend. It's going to be great music all weekend long. Hey, something very cool today. It is National Iced Tea Day. Well, if you'd like some freebies, there's some places that have agreed to do some really cool things all day today. Like if you're traveling and you've got Love's Travel Stops along your route, for the first time ever, Love's Travel Stops is giving away free iced tea all day long through their Love's Travel app. And if you're lucky enough to have a McAllister's near you, they've got a tea tumbler giveaway today. So, McAllister's. National Iced Tea Day. I'm completely addicted to the Milo's. It's Milo's lemonade tea combo. It's so good. I'm kind of addicted. And tomorrow we might even talk about why Milo's tea is so good. I've got a story set aside for that. But I don't want to leave without telling you about Backstage Nashville, because one of my favorite people is going to be on stage this Saturday, Matreca Berg. She wrote Strawberry Wine and a host of other hits. But there was a song that she did at the Bluebird Cafe that absolutely just gutted me. It literally just, when you hear those songs and you go, wow, what a song. And it is incredible. And I found a clip of her singing it, and Trisha Yearwood is right beside her as she's singing it. And I love Trisha's going, I love this song. But I wanted to share it with you. Matreca Berg on stage at Backstage Nashville this weekend.
I want to play a song that I wrote about my mother-in-law and my grandmother. And this came about, it was really strange. I had this conversation with both of them within a month, I think. And it really touched me. I just never asked them what they thought about aging. And this is what they said.
You're killing me and you haven't even started it. I love this song.
And I wrote it on piano, but I'm too scared to jump back on Steve's piano.
You can.
Oh, I'm afraid I'll screw it up really bad. So I'll just do it like this. Anyway. I guess you had to be there. She said you had to be. She handed me a yellowed photograph and then said, see, this was my greatest love, my one and only love, and this is me. Back when we were beautiful, don't feel very different, she said. I know it's strange. I guess I've gotten used to these little aches and pain. still love to dance. You know we used to dance the night away. Back when we were beautiful, beautiful, yeah. I hate it when they say I'm aging gracefully. I fight it every day. I guess they never see I don't like this at all. What's happening to me? To me. But I really love my grandkids, she said. They're sweet to hold. They would have loved their grandpa, those awful jokes he told. You know, sometimes for a laugh, the two of us would act like we were old. Back when we were beautiful, beautiful, yeah. But I guess you had to be there.
Thank you. Matreca Berg may be one of my favorite songwriters, performers to see live. She is unbelievable. I met Matreca. I lived in Louisiana. I was in Monroe, Louisiana. I was still in college, and I met her. I was up all night studying at a little place where you have breakfast. It was one of the few places that was open all night. And I was sitting there working on, I don't know, getting ready for a debate tournament. And she walked in and we started just a conversation. And she said, "Hey, when you get to Nashville, and I know you will, you look me up." And I did. And she remembered me, and we don't get to see each other very often, but every time I do, we always talk about that time when we met. And she's very, very special. Cheryl LaValle, who is watching today, said that she hung out with Matreca at a time, was there when she wrote the song, "The Last One to Know," an amazing song. And you get to hear the stories and the songs at Backstage Nashville, at Debbie Champion's Vanderbilt Commodore Room, the Listening Room, another place to hear great stories and songs in Nashville. If you're coming to Nashville and you go, "Where can I see great music?" Look for the Great Writers' Rooms. That's the thing. Look for the Great Writers' Rooms, because they call it Music City, but I call it Songwriter City. And Cheryl, I agree with you. She's my favorite too. There's just something about it. And today I'm a little weepy today. I'm just going to be honest with you. Maybe I'm a little tired, but sometimes the music opens you up and lets you feel, and it's okay. It's okay if you have those days, you know, when it gets kind of dreary outside and it rains for about 8 days in a row. You just kind of go, "Oh my God." But anyway, Backstage Nashville, a great time. I've loved it when I've gone. Yes, EB, that is absolutely, it is so much fun. And so you guys have a beautiful day. Be safe, be kind. Remember, most of all, whatever you go through, that you are loved.